one of the variations I wanted to show you on a Adams dry fly, and that is an Adams Biot dry fly. This one, what I did is instead of dubbing the body, I've used some Nature Spirit medium goose quills that are in a muskrat gray, dyed a muskrat gray. Everything else about the fly is the same. I'm going to use the grizzly and the brown mix of hackle for both the tail and the hackle on the hackle collar at the front, and I'm going to use my grizzly hen tips for the wing. And so other than that, it's all the same. I'm going to show you a little different way of putting the tail in also. So you got a couple options for the tail. So let's take this fly out. Let me go ahead and let's take a closer look at this fly, and then we'll go ahead and we'll get started tying. Okay, so I put a number 12 hook here in the shank, and so this fly is going to be Biot. So here, this is a strip of Biots right here. These are pretty nice long ones. So what I do to prepare these is I'm gonna fold this kind of in the middle section here, anywhere in the middle, kind of like that. And then I'll come in here with my scissors, and I'm gonna come down here, and I'll trim this out like this, cut in the middle. Now I've got these Biots like this. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few of them, and I'm not going to cut them off. Instead, I'm going to strip them off. So let me strip a few of these off here. So I got a couple for a few flies. Let me put that aside. So what I've done, I got this, it's a little bit hard to see. I've got water in it. This is a little water dish. You can kind of see the Biots in there. And I put these Biots down in this water. And I'm going to let them just sit there and soak for a little bit as I kind of start this fly. The reason for that is Biots tend to be pretty brittle, especially out here in Colorado where we have pretty low humidity. And so by soaking them, you make them a little more pliable. Let's go ahead and start by attaching my thread here. And so the first thing I'm going to do is get my tailing material. So I've just picked 2 fibers, so traditional Adams. The tail is a mixture of brown and grizzly hackle. I'm going to hackle this one a little bit differently than I did the other one. I'm going to start by taking a few of these brown fibers, just a few of them here. I'm going to try to really line the tips up, maybe grab a couple more, see if I can get the tips really nice and lined up. Yeah, those are pretty good. Now squeeze them good and tight and pull them off, and they shouldn't move around. And so there's the first part of the tail. So now remember, we're going to measure the tail, the length of the hook shank. So where I'm pinching it here, I'm going to set that back on the tie-in point, then come in here and get these wrapped in like that, and then I'll take my thread to the front. Now remember, it's supposed to be a mixture of grizzly and brown. So now I'm going to come and I'm going to take my grizzly hackle fibers, and again I'll just take a couple of them here, get them nice and evened up. Let me kind of get those out of the way. Here we go. Yeah, there's a nice little clump right there. Hope I didn't get them all. Let's try that again. Okay, so there's a nice little clump of grizzly. So I'm gonna, now this one, all I gotta do is go in and match where I have the tips of the brown, and then come in here and tie it down. Again, let's pull it a little towards me as I wrap back. And then I'm gonna lift that up and one wrap under it. Okay, so there's my tail. So my body here looks pretty nice and smooth. I guess I'll come and I'll wrap up here, wrap that little piece down. And I want to keep this pretty slim. Now I'm going to come back here to the back. Okay, so I'm going to get one of my Biots over here, soaking in the water, and I've got a little piece of shop towel. I'm going to just use that to kind of squeeze the water out and dry it out. Okay, so now when you look at this, these Biots have a little ridge on them. One side's got a little ridge, and when you put it one way and you wrap it, you'll see the little ridge. You flip it around and you mount it the other way and you wrap it, and you'll get a smooth body. And what you want to do is see they got a curve to it. You put the curve, I'm putting the curve towards the camera or away from me, and then when I wrap it, that little ridge will get covered up. But I'm going to tell you right now, the fish don't care one way or the other. I've tied them both ways, and as far as the way it fishes, it's fine. Okay, now I'm going to get my hackle pliers and grab a hold right at the very end of this and bring it up. Now I'm going to be really gentle here at the beginning when you make your wrap. And there we go. Now we're getting a kind of a nice smooth body there. Now I can bring it out as far as I can get it and come and grab it with my thread and clip the little end off. Okay, so now next thing I'm going to put in is my wings. Now from here on out, the fly is just like a standard Adams. I'm going to take these two little feathers, I'm going to put them back to back, so see they're curving away from each other, and match up the tips. Okay, let's see, make sure they're even. There they are. I'm going to just take these back to like the inside curve or just right to the back of the body. Change hands and come up here and tie them in. Come in and snip out the butts. Now, ideally, what I want is I want these wings mounted right kind of in the center of this open space. See if I can get it to move forward. There we go. So the wings are right here, about halfway between where the body ended and the eye of the hook. That's about where you want them. Let me see if I can get one more thread wrap in there and just make them stand up just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. Now I've pre-measured and selected a brown hackle and a grizzly hackle. So I'm going to come in here and just like I prepped out the other ones, I'll kind of stroke that out, get into here. Now what I'm going to do is take these out here. And let me take this. Okay. So I'm going to stroke these out here. Let me get them lined up again. And I'm going to snip top and bottom. Okay, I'm going to get my thread right in front. Okay, now just like before, I'm going to mount the curve towards me. So when it comes up, the curve is facing forward like this as I wrap, and that'll make the hackle go forward. So I'm going to drop these in here. Oops, let me shorten up my thread. Got a little bit too long a thread there going on my bobbin. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there we go. I captured it right in front of the wings. Pull the wings up and get a couple wraps right in behind the wings as well. Like that. Now come forward and take that thread forward. Now let's get my hackle plier. Take whichever I guess the front feather is the grizzly, so we'll start with that one. Bring it up. And I'm going to try to get about 3 wraps. Now each wrap should go forward of the last one towards the front. So there's 3 wraps behind the wing. And I'll get 3 wraps in front of the wing. Pull it up, tie that feather off with a couple of wraps. Now I'm going to do the same with the brown. Come up. I'm going to try to get 1, 2, 3 wraps behind the wing, and then we'll come in front here. 1. Kind of try to work that through so it doesn't knock down the grizzly fibers that went before. There we go. 3. All right. That's pretty good. Come in and trim that out. Okay, now I'm going to pull everything back. Come in here with my thread and wrap a thread head right here. Let's get everything pulled back. There we go. A little bit of a thread head. Kind of seat that thread right back in behind the eye. Use my whip finish tool. Come in and put a whip finish on. Again, I push that thread back so it kind of seats in behind the eye of the hook. And this one's pretty good. I don't see too many. There's maybe one stray fiber there I can clip out. That one looks pretty good. I'll give you a front view here. You can see the wings are nice V shape. And so yeah, so this is just a little different look to an Adams. You know, the quill body, and I do these on a lot of patterns. I'll do a dub body and then a quill body. I'll show you some other patterns in other videos, but it's just a little bit different look for the fish. You know, if they come and they take a poke at it, or they sort of look at it but decide not to eat it, you know, one of the things you can do, downsizing the same fly is always a good strategy. A lot of times that'll, you know, the fly might just been a little too big. The fish didn't like it because it was a little too big. It was a little bigger than the whatever natural bug it was eating. But sometimes just a little bit different look too will trigger it. And so having some quill-bodied patterns in your dry fly box works real well too. So hopefully you enjoyed this. A lot of similarities between the regular Adams and this one. And I love these little classic dry flies. Like I said, I don't fish them a lot, but occasionally I pull them out and just see what I can do with them. And from a fly tying standpoint, they're a real classic pattern. So if you haven't done so, click subscribe, and I'll be coming out with some new videos. And so, yeah, and we'll just kind of keep going here and tie some more flies, and then we'll do some tackle rigging stuff. I'm going to do some rigging stuff later this spring as well. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.